What was the event when Earth probably changed color and almost killed all life? Last night I couldn't fall asleep, and while I was doom scrolling, I stumbled onto something that genuinely stopped me mid-scroll. The Great Oxidation Event, about 2.4 billion years ago. It's one of the biggest turning points in Earth's history, and it completely reshaped what life was, where it lived, and what the planet itself looks like. Before this event, Earth was not green, blue, or familiar in any way. Life existed, but it was entirely microscopic. No plants, no animal, no fungi, no life on land at all. Everything alive was in the oceans, and it was made of single cells. These organisms were anaerobic, meaning they did not use oxygen. In fact, oxygen was toxic to them. The atmosphere back then contained almost no oxygen. Instead, it was rich in gases like carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and methane. Because methane was abundant, many scientists think the sky may have had an orange or hazy appearance, similar to Titan, Saturn's moon. The oceans were also chemically different, filled with dissolved iron that stayed in solution because there was no oxygen to react with it. As for what life looked like, the dominant organisms were bacteria and archaea. Many formed microbial mats and layered structures called stromatolites, which we still find as fossils today. These mats likely carpeted shallow seas. They were slimy, dense, and alive with microbial activity. Nothing swam, nothing crawled, nothing had eyes, limbs, or mouths. There's also a scientifically discussed idea sometimes called the purple Earth hypothesis. This doesn't mean the planet literally turned purple, but it suggests that before oxygen-producing life dominated, some microbes may have used retinal-based photosynthesis instead of chlorophyll. These organisms absorb green light and reflect red and purple wavelengths, which could have given parts of the planet a purplish tint. This is still a hypothesis, but it's grounded in known biochemistry and supported by the existence of such microbes today. Then came the key players, cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria evolved a new trick, oxygen photosynthesis. They use sunlight to split water molecules and release oxygen as waste. At first, this oxygen didn't build up. It immediately reacted with the iron in the oceans, creating massive deposits of iron oxides that sank to the seafloor. These are the branded iron formations we mine today, and they're one of the strongest pieces of evidence that this process happened. Eventually, the iron sinks were exhausted. Oxygen had nowhere left to go, so it entered the atmosphere. That moment marks the Great Oxidation Event. From a scientific perspective, this wasn't a sudden explosion of oxygen, but a geochemical phase transition. Earth systems cross a threshold where oxygen could persist in the atmosphere instead of being immediately consumed by reactions. We know this happened because certain sulfur isotope patterns, which can only form in oxygen-free air, suddenly disappear from the rock records after this time. Red oxidized soils also appear for the first time. The planet literally began to rust. For life at the time, this was catastrophic. Oxygen poisoned most existing organisms, likely causing one of the earliest mass extinctions. Entire microbial ecosystems collapsed. Some life retreated into the oxygen-free environment where anaerobic organisms still live today. But the aftermath changed everything. Oxygen enabled far more efficient energy production, making larger and more complex cells possible. Over time, this led to eukaryotic cells, the ancestors of all plants, animals, and fungi. Oxygen also allows the formation of the ozone layer, which blocked harmful ultraviolet radiation. Only after that could life eventually move onto land hundreds of millions of years later. So the Great Oxidation Event wasn't just about adding oxygen. It transformed the chemistry of the oceans, the atmosphere, the climate, and the rules of life itself. It nearly wiped life out and then made complex life possible. All because tiny microbes changed the planet without knowing it. I'm Mari, and this is Midnight Question.